So you've got about 50,000 euros, about $50,000, around 45,000 pounds, or about $500,000 kroners, and you're looking to buy a Volvo EX30 or a Polestar 2. And in today's video, we're going to compare these two to find out which electric car that suits you the best. With this budget, we are at opposite ends of these two vehicles, which is why I think this comparison is so interesting. So for about 52,000 euros, you can get a fully spec'd, top of the line Volvo EX30 twin performance with all the options. Or for 52,000 euros, you can get the entry-level Polestar 2 standard range single motor with the pilot package, no paint options on 19-inch wheels. So we're gonna break everything down in this video, and hopefully you guys at the end of the video will find out which of these two electric cars fits you the best. Let's kick off this video by looking at some numbers. The most important thing for a lot of people when buying an electric car after pricing is range and performance. And since these two examples we're using here for today's comparison cost about the same and they're almost equally priced, I think range and performance is the second most important thing for a lot of people here. And looking at the range, looking at a Polestar 2 standard range single motor, that's the rear wheel drive version on 19-inch wheels, that car's gonna get almost 550 kilometers of WLTP rated range, where the EX30 twin performance is going to get about 450 kilometers. That's 100 kilometers in difference in WLTP rating, and we can expect these cars to get somewhere between 60 and 70% of that in the real world driving on the motorway. So the real world difference may be 70 kilometers, 60 kilometers in the real world, because both of these cars, using them in the real world, are going to get less range than those WLTP rated numbers. The difference in reality may not be that big, but there's still a substantial difference. There is. And also charging times, interesting between these two cars, because the EX30 has a smaller battery pack but faster charging. And that means the 10 to 80% here is also quite different. 28 minutes in the EX30 versus 35 minutes in that Polestar 2. And then we have the performance. Here there is a huge difference. I think this is less important for most people, but for people who care about performance, this is absolutely important. And since the Polestar 2 only has a single motor in this configuration, 272 horsepower, and it weighs more because it is bigger, it does 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 6.4 seconds, which for a lot of people is more than fast enough. But that EX30 in the twin performance, guys, is a real performance monster. 428 horsepower, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.6 seconds, which is almost half the time. That is a huge, huge difference. Before we compare practicality between these two cars, which actually may be the second most important thing after pricing to a lot of people out there, especially people with families, kids, and babies, I just want to give a huge thanks to today's video sponsor, Recharge, the largest charge point operator in the Nordics with more than 4,000 charging points across Norway, Sweden, and Finland. They've been upgrading and updating a lot of charging stations lately and also building a lot of new ones. So yeah, pretty awesome, pretty great. Go to the link in the description box down below to find out where your closest Recharge charger is. When it comes to front cabin practicality, I think the EX30 is a little bit better than the Polestar 2 because it has a smaller center console. The Polestar 2 is known for this large center tunnel that makes the front cabin feel more cramped and less roomy than something like an EX30, but also actually takes away a little bit of legroom for taller passengers. So front cabin, I think the EX30 is just a little bit better. But when it comes to the back seats, Polestar 2 isn't known for the biggest back seats, but the EX30 is quite small. I got a chance to take a look at that car at the launch in Italy, and yeah, rear legroom is pretty tight. I barely fit in the rear with my legs because of that short wheelbase, 2.65 meters. Headroom is fine, but you know, if you have long legs, or I don't know, if you're just a normal size adult like me, 5'10", 178 centimeters, you may struggle for longer trips in the EX30. Polestar 2, not the biggest, but at least I fit there fine. Headroom may be a little bit tight, also a little bit dark and cramped because of small rear windows. The EX30 isn't as good as that Polestar 2. And where the biggest difference between these two cars are, even though they're both hatches, is cargo capacity. So both cars do have a frunk, but the frunk in the EX30 is just 7 liters. It's barely a frunk, only room for your charging cable, not plural, charging cable. The Polestar 2 has 41 liters of frunk, so it's at least like several times bigger, like 5 times as big. And also the trunk is about 100 liters bigger in that Polestar 2, and it's a hatch in both of them. It's just more practical overall. The Polestar 2, there's no comparison. The longer wheelbase, the longer overall length, yeah, it is better for practicality in a Polestar 2. Exterior design, interior ergonomics, and just overall functionality of the cabin. I'm gonna bundle this into the last segment of this video because I've done a whole bunch of videos on, well, at least the Polestar 2 over several years. I've done a video on the EX30 at the launch where I talked about this. So if you want to know my opinion more in detail on those things, there will be videos here on the channel. But overall, exterior design, I think both of these two cars are very closely matched. The EX30 may just be a little bit more exciting now because it is new, but I think both of these two cars are great designs and are going to age very well, both very attractive, and I like them both. Interior design, Polestar 2 again is a little bit older here. The Volvo is a little bit more out there and different from what we've seen before. So at least now I think it's a little bit more exciting, but it's also much more minimalistic than that Polestar 2. And also the Polestar 2 has nicer materials, so I think you're going to get a nicer, luxurious feeling in that Polestar 2. And also, for a lot of people, the Polestar 2 does have a driver display where the EX30 does not. And I know from a lot of videos I've done and other people have done, comments about the Volvo not having either a head-up display or a driver display is a huge thing. You're not going to get a head-up display in the Polestar 2. I'm not the hugest fan of head-up displays, but at least it has that driver display in front of, well, your eyes. So that is pretty cool. But when it comes to the usability, because of the buttons in the Polestar 2, it has traditional window switches for all the windows. It has traditional mirror switches. It has, normal controls for the seats and the steering wheel. And also you do have a dedicated stock on the right hand side for your wipers and other functionality. I think usability in the Polestar 2 with the screens, with the buttons, is just a little bit better than that EX30. At the end of the day, which of these two electric cars do you choose? Which do you buy with your own money? Which is the best electric car? If you want the most range, the most practicality, the nicest interior, the more practical interior, more of a traditional car, that Polestar 2 is hard to beat. I've driven multiple Polestar 2s over several years, tens of thousands of kilometers in Norway, across Europe. I drove the latest one down in Germany on the Autobahn at VMAX several times, and I really love the Polestar 2. I love the Polestar 2 to death. It's one of my absolute favorite electric cars. But at this price point, it's also a little bit compromised because you're not getting the best range out of this car. You're not getting the most performance. And at this price point, you're only getting the Pilot package. So you're not getting the Harman Kardon sound system. You're not getting the upgraded interior. You're not getting the panoramic sunroof. So yeah. Would I still buy that car at this price point if that was the budget? I don't know. I'd have to drive the EX30 first, but I'm leaning more towards that Polestar because of the range. The EX30 at this price point is a great car. You're getting that amazing performance. You're still getting good range, good charging. 10 to 80% is like less than 30 minutes. And also it looks great. You're getting all the bells and whistles, the Harman Kardon sound system, panoramic sunroof. You're getting a trailer hitch. You're getting all the options for this price, and at that price it's really, really hard to beat. And 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, 3.6 seconds, accessible for a lot of people in a package like this. It's going to be amazing. It is going to be amazing. And I've driven the Smart hashtag one, so there's a video on the channel on that. I drove it last week, and that car was great. If the EX30 is close to drive to that car, this is going to be a super hard thing to decide on. But as things are now, because of the compromised practicality of that EX30, I think I would spend my money on a Polestar 2 standard range single motor. But guys, let me know in the comment section down below, which of these two cars would you spend 52,000 euros on of your own money. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below, and for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye.